From WXRW Riverwest Radio in Milwaukee, this is Anja Notanja Asks, a subtle force production. I'm Anja Notanja, and I interview Milwaukee area artists about their work because, well, someone really ought to. My guest today is Van Rung, fellow typewriter poet. Hello, Van Rung.
Hello.
You are one of a tribe of typewriter poets that clack through the streets of Milwaukee. I am one of them. You are one of them. I believe you are the latest edition. How many markets, how many pop-ups have you done?
I think I'm at about 4 right now.
Yeah, you can get a little closer to the mic there.
Okay.
Yeah. 4. Awesome. And tell us about some of your experiences you've had typing poetry on the spot for customers.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's fun because you never know what to expect. I've had some, really deep, meaningful, got to write about people's, journeys with their father, and then also I've written about roadkill.
Oh, that's delightful. I wish someone would come up to me and ask for a roadkill poem.
It's one of my favorite prompts that I've received.
Yeah, just to be very clear with our audience, in case you're unfamiliar with what typewriter poetry is, basically you set up a typewriter in a public space and people come up to you and they ask you for poems and you write whatever it is they want. Is this a correct definition of what you would say you're doing?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, yeah, that's what I do too. Cool. Because sometimes people might have a different approach. You are very new at this. Do you think you have a different approach than one you've seen before?
I keep it pretty open-ended. The only thing I've been doing, I also do a format where you can request a vintage postcard, and I'll write you a little letter on it. But outside of that, I think it's just kind of whatever you want.
Tell me about these postcards. Like what era are they from? What sort of scenes?
Whatever I can find. They're from all over. As long as they're blank, I'll pick them up. I did have a really cool, I had one with Joan of Arc on it.
Oh.
Yeah, and I got to write for somebody who had a Joan of Arc tattoo.
Cool.
So that was cool.
When I was a kid growing up, I was Catholic, and at a certain age, they make you pick a saint name, and you get baptized with that name, except no one ever calls you it. But that was my saint name, was Saint Joan of Arc. Yes.
She's the coolest.
She is the coolest. So, do you have a poem for us?
I do, on the Catholic theme. This one's called La Catedral de Santa Vianella. Sepulchres and oubliettes, the cathedral's facade invites me in, teasing secrets I have not learned yet. There's elements that are arabesque, this former mosque now covered in stained glass and grotesque. 1492 reads a carved plaquette. Los Reyes Católicos are etched within, sharing secrets I have not learned yet. Countless died for this project. In what remains of this dark sin, Doric pillars and parapets. Each structure glorifies the Christian sect. Their savior hangs beaten and thin, bleeding secrets I have not learned yet. This church is what violence begets. There's angels where there once were jinn, reliquaries and stone turrets, keeping secrets I had not learned yet.
I love that. And I love the $5 words. And I love the blend of languages. Was this a particular cathedral you were absorbing?
So it was kind of a collection of, I studied abroad, studying Spanish in Granada, Spain.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of, that was the last part of Spain that was conquered by Los Reyes Católicos. So there's a lot of churches that were formerly mosques, and then like churches all throughout history. So I got to study art and architecture while I was out there, and we ran around to all these different cathedrals. So it was kind of just like a memory of a collection of a bunch of different cathedrals.
Of sites where people worked themselves to death to honor God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Are you prepared to work to death to honor the gods of typewriter poetry?
Well, I don't know if I'd go that far.
Yeah, we're just keeping it light here.
Yeah. Good vibes.
Yeah. Yeah. What are the things that commonly come up for you as a poet when you're writing?
So I'm huge fan of the Gothic horror tradition. So I feel like the kind of motifs and the language and the tropes that are in that genre come up a lot for me, even if I'm not directly writing about that genre.
Can you give us some like examples? Like, is it like hairy knuckles? Is it like a choker? Like, what are some of those like Gothic? Is it a corset?
I feel like it's the spooky old house, you know, the kind of, or, you know, a man, you know, slowly unraveling those kind of
So you're saying
secrets, shadows.
Yeah, like parapets appear in more than one poem.
Yeah.
Good. I love a parapet. I'm glad you fit that in. Cool. Yeah, who are your influences artistically?
I would say the first poet I ever fell in love with was Edgar Allan Poe.
I knew you were going to say
no
that.
Surprises there. I think everybody says this, Sylvia Plath. I've been really influenced by Toni Morrison's writing style. I think it's so rich and beautiful, and I just want to emulate, you know, anywhere close to that would be a dream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I understand that you are somewhat newer to poetry. You studied history.
I did, yeah. So I've been kind of writing my whole life. I would say got into poetry late in high school.
Mm-hmm.
So have been writing for a long time, but haven't necessarily done anything with it until fairly recently.
Yeah. And how would you say your study of history comes up in your work?
I think that there's a lot to play with in historical motifs to make political commentary by referencing, you know, things that have happened in the past. I'm, you know, really enjoy an ekphrastic poem. So anything where I can reference other artists that have come before me, I think is really fun and really good source of material for me.
Acrostic, yes. Can you remind our listeners what an acrostic poem is?
It's a poem about another piece of art.
Oh, ekphrastic.
Yes.
I thought you said acrostic because an acrostic, I was like, that's when you take a word and each letter in that word is a line of poetry.
Yeah.
But you're talking about ekphrastic. Yes. Do you have an assignment for our listeners?
I do. So I would say any hobby or passion project that you're doing right now by yourself, go out and do it in public.
Mm-hmm.
Go find a community. If you're a musician, go perform at an open mic. If you're a runner, join a run club. If you're a reader, join a book club. Just go out and do it with other people, because I think that's a really rich opportunity to build community and really hone your craft.
Yeah. What do you think happens when you take your work outside where people can interact with it when it's still a little raw?
I think it imbues it with meaning. Like I don't know what the point of doing some of this stuff is without, you know, to me it's sort of in service to other people. So to be able to collaborate with other people and get feedback or have it touch them. Like, that's the point of it. But it's also a really good opportunity to get a sense of like what's working for this, or what do I enjoy doing, like what feels good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um, yeah. Can you tell us a story about something that's happened as a typewriter poet doing poetry on the spot recently?
um I got the opportunity recently to write basically someone's life story
Oh,
in a poem.
how did that go down?
It was deeply emotional, I think, and for both of us. It was,
How
yeah.
was that determined? Like, did they come up knowing that's what they wanted?
We kind of had a conversation about, art and life and all of that, and I said, what do you want the prompt to be? And they said, this conversation. And so I just was able to work off of that. And
Was it an older person?
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like at a certain age, I don't know when it is, but I've noticed if you're in 50 plus club, you're much more likely to just spontaneously spill your life story to the under 50 club.
And I keep doing it. I love I love when somebody's willing to share their story and be a little bit vulnerable in that respect. Like I that's the I don't know. That's always what I walk away with as being like the important moving thing that happened.
What was one thing that this person who wanted their life story, what's one thing that's happened to them in life that was kind of interesting to you?
They talked a little bit about their career and how they kind of felt pulled in one direction and then another direction of like what's meaningful and what you do to survive, and that was really impactful.
Yeah. Do you want to share another poem of yours?
Sure. This one's called Awe. She goes by many names. Call her peace, call her chaos. She's a subject I could spend the rest of my life writing about if she'd let me, and I'd never really pin her down. She lights up a room the way a firecracker might, spitting, splashing the space with dazzling life. Utter beauty, exploding out of utter darkness, an awesome force that wills you to be present, to bear witness, and cuts into you, wills your own light to be seen. Infinite time, infinite space, infinite reality. And she shares this little speck of earth with me. Total grace, total beauty, total clarity. And at the end of it, she finds a home in me.
Forgive me for being dense because I can be dense. But is that a poem about yourself? Is that a poem about a loved one?
My girlfriend.
Okay. That's what I was thinking at first, and then I was like, maybe this is a poem about yourself, or maybe this is a poem about how you change under the influence of the one you love. Yeah. That's wonderful. How did your girlfriend receive the poem?
I think pretty well. Yeah, I think she liked it. I like to give poems as a gift. So
yeah, do you have like a little treasure chest at home full of love poems?
I've got a little bit of reserve, but I do like to write them like for the occasion.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. Have you had to write a lot of love poems yet for other people?
Yeah, I have written a few for like other people's anniversaries or just for their partners. Yeah.
What's a question you ask people when you are writing on behalf of their love? What is something you ask a couple so that you make it more bespoke for them?
So the number one question I always ask people is, what do you love about them?
What do you love about them?
Yeah.
Yep.
I feel like it just cuts right to the.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good one. I'm gonna ask that. I think I typically ask like, how does this person make you a better person by loving them? You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But sometimes the person doesn't make them a better person, and sometimes the person they just love them, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
And that's an important point,
Yeah.
too. And I think
Mhm.
that's cool. But usually people are like, they're calm and I'm not. Or, you know, or
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of typewriter do you type on?
It's a Smith Corona. As far as I can tell, it's from the 60s.
Those are my favorite.
Yeah.
Is it like a classic 10, classic 12, elite?
I don't know. It doesn't have the
Does it have
might
that
be a
little
Galaxy.
Galaxy? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it has like the little, does it have the little button where you press it and it just like whirs past really fast to the power
No.
shift?
No.
Oh. Okay. Well, we don't need to nerd out on typewriters for too much of this conversation. But how would you say typing on a typewriter changes the writing?
I have to slow down.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I have to slow down physically my typing speed because it'll jam if I type as fast as I want to. But I also need to be more accurate because I don't want to just keep recycling paper. So because I have to slow down, I have to think a little bit more, and then it is a final product when I'm handing it over. So it's not just like a first draft. I have to really think about, okay, I've got one shot to do this.
Yes. There's a bit of pressure there.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's a good pressure, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I'm a little more okay with making some mistakes and crossing them out because people kind of are touched by that.
Yeah.
Because we live in like this world with all this digital technology and like we've kind of run mistakes out.
Yeah.
But it's kind of special when something's like, it's not handmade, but it's almost handmade because you can see how someone might spell something wrong. And there's nothing there on the typewriter when you're writing that tells you you're in the wrong. Like if you're writing on a computer, spell check comes up, or like now AI will be like, did you really mean to say this? Or that's bad grammar. Yeah.
Yeah. I've considered myself a pretty good speller, but I have handed off some poems and gone, oh dang, I spelled that wrong, and I have to just sit in that discomfort.
Yeah, it's part of the charm.
Yeah.
You can always sell it as part of the charm. Yeah. You intended every mistake.
Exactly.
Yes. How many typewriters do you have right now?
I've got the one that I type off of, and then I've got an electric one that I thought I could fix, and I don't think it's gonna happen. So
Yeah. Yeah. Has anyone asked you yet, like, oh, would you like a typewriter?
no, I'm
Okay.
hoping if you're out
That's
there.
that's about to happen to you in spades. Like if we have this conversation again in a year, you're gonna be like, I have 50 typewriters.
Here's
I
hoping.
organize them by weight. I use one every week when I go bowling. Yeah. What's something I should ask you that I wouldn't think to ask you?
Oh. Ooh, that's a tough one.
That's okay. Do you have another poem you want to read?
Sure.
Let's do that.
This one's called Small Town Boy. He's a small town boy. He still wears the juvenile pride of never having tried. And yet he wears the motor oil under his fingernails, like a rich lady wears gilded rings. His coveralls like they're Burberry. He never complains of back pain, shrugs his shoulders when your jaw drops at the mention of his 16-hour shift. He tries to hide the hours spent inside his garage, fine-tuning his vintage car, exacting in the way he matches paint codes and searches for original radios. He claims he doesn't have the time to read or draw or sleep, never had the aptitude for university, and yet he can rattle off every make that Ford produced in 1932 from memory, can talk your ear off about the V8's legacy. It's not that he doesn't have ability, it's that he practices a different form of excellency.
I love that. It's a very vivid portrait of someone. I love that. I love it when people come alive in a description. Yeah. There was something in there that you said too, where he doesn't sleep, he doesn't eat. What else does he not do?
Complain.
He doesn't complain. That's amazing, because if I didn't sleep or eat, I'd be nothing but complaints.
Same.
Wow. But he lives on the meaning and purpose of knowing all the makes of Ford. It's really surprising what can give a person meaning and purpose sometimes.
Yeah, and I love learning about someone's niche interest. Like,
Yes.
that's my favorite thing when you meet somebody new and they just open up about the thing that they love that, like, not a lot of other people know about. I could just listen to that all day.
Yeah. Do you have any niche interests that we haven't discussed?
Oh, definitely the gothic horror. Yeah, I can talk your off about books till the cows come home.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
What are you reading right now?
So I am reading, it's actually a book about gothic horror.
A book about the genre
Of Southern
So
Gothic, yeah.
This is an egghead book.
Yes.
Yes. That's what we call that section at my husband's bookshop. We call them the egghead books, the books about like theory and philosophy. And
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
It's light reading.
Yeah. When did gothic horror really come to fore as a genre? Was it Edgar Allan Poe?
Prior to Edgar Allan Poe, the book that's always referenced is The Castle of Otranto, which was 1700s, like late 1700s. This book is kind of arguing that it maybe goes back a little bit farther than that, and that maybe some books that we don't originally consider to be Gothic can be considered Gothic.
Like what?
She talks about Mark Twain as one of these. Yeah, she's talking about a couple like autobiographies. Yeah, it's really fascinating.
That is cool. Yeah. Where did you find this book?
I found it in a bookstore in New Orleans. Frenchman.
Okay.
Books. Yeah, and they're open until like 10 p.m. while all the bars are going. They're also selling books. It's very cool.
Is this the kind of bookshop where there's always a typewriter poet out in front?
So when I was there was a improv jazz band, but I could totally see a typewriter poet.
Did you get any typewriter poems when you were in New Orleans?
I didn't come across anyone, unfortunately.
Oh, no. I got one when I was there in 2017. And I remember the imagery was hands her a helmet. I remember that's in the poem somewhere. Because I think it was a little awkward because I was like, I'm a typewriter poet, you're a typewriter poet. And I think sometimes you don't always know how to interact with that information. Like, is it threatening? Is it friendly? And I think the poem wasn't sure what we were as colleagues.
It's a little intimidating when somebody comes up and they're like, I'm also a poet. You're like, I really gotta show up here.
Yeah. Well, I welcome you to the scene, and I hope you someone opened up a bottle of peppermint. It's very peppery. But I hope you remain clacking in the scene always.
Thank
and
you.
I have a sense you will. And I have a sense we will play together, and I'm excited about this growing family. Because for many years, I've been the only typewriter poet in Milwaukee that I knew of, for the most part, aside from people who might do it occasionally. But I always knew one day I wouldn't be alone, because when I was younger, I saw someone doing it, and I thought, that's a really good idea. I could do that. It's only a matter of time before I turn other people on to the idea, or they get the idea from somewhere else, because it's a growing phenomenon.
Yeah. And I've been really floored by how much of a scene there is in Milwaukee and how welcoming everyone has been. You're a prime example of that. Like, people have just kind of with open arms said, like, hey, do you want to come do this thing? I've gotten so many yeses, and I'm just really honored that I've been like invited into this little community.
Yeah. And if it ever seems like someone gets protective too because they know another typewriter poet, be it me or someone else, you can always say, this is like plein air painting. You know, there's lots of people doing it, but every plein air artist is on their own creative expression, their own journey. And yeah, I think it's a beautiful thing you're joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome. Anything you'd like to ask me? Dooty 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 doo. I'm just making some noises so it's not dead air.
Can you share a poem?
Can I share a poem? Sure. Let me open up my my drive here and I'll find a poem. That's a good question. Poetry book. I'm working on a poetry book. Okay. I'll read you this. A little too humble I am when I tell you I'm writing a book about God that will blow the Bible right out of the water. And it will change everything because it's not about the ego. I once had a comic book deal with Name Drop, but I threw it all out. Too much ego. They call me the king of comics, but I don't really refer to myself as that because it's not about the ego. I even canceled my movie deal with Name Drop because, frankly, it shouldn't be about how genius I am. In truth, I am one layer below God because I remove myself from the equation. That's the only way to do it. Trust me, I'm in it. I was drawn to your energy and your beautiful eyes, but you gotta start making poetry without the ego. 'Cause just one look at you, with just one look, I, in all my higher knowledge, can tell you're someone special. That's a real interaction that happened to me on Brady Street a couple years ago.
Oh, seriously?
And I wrote it right down afterwards. It was truly bizarre.
I love that.
Yes. Yes. Well, I want to thank you, Van Rung, for coming on the show. Do you have anything coming up that we should know about?
So I write a newsletter. It's called Savo Fragments. It's also what my booth is called. So I'm working on expanding a little bit more of that, putting some more
Savo Fragments?
Yes, SAVVO.
Uh-huh.
It's on Substack. I'm always trying to put out more content on there, and then I also announce, where I'll be in the coming months. So, yeah, check out that.
Sounds
where I'll
good.
be.
We'll tune into that. Yeah, and you have a website, or
just
sort
the
of
Substack. Yeah.
Substack.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yes. Okay. All right. So, thank you to Van Rung, and thank you to you, dear listener. Now, who's on next week? The answer is, who knows? Because I'll grill anyone who makes stuff in this town, trendy or not. And this is where the little ending music would normally play. But I have yet to figure out how to get that on this show. That'll happen next week, probably. Doodly looly looly loo. I don't have anything else to tell you. I'm just counting down the seconds now for this radio show to end. Dot 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 dot. I'm your host, Anja Notanja Asks. Have a beautiful, wootiful, crafrutiful, garutable week.